Hi. Oh shit, I didn't even have my mic anywhere near me. I realized that, yeah, there's no way that I'm gonna be able to, like, sleep. I mean, sometimes I can force myself to do, like, really crazy sleeps, like 15 hours, but I don't think I'll be able to do that today, so I'm like, well, what the fuck am I gonna do with my time? It's like, I don't want to watch Star Wars right now, so I'm just gonna stream. I was actually in the middle of watching Revenge of the Sith. Oh, Yoshi. The third prequel movie. I was right in the beginning of it. They just really just start up and immediately it's action. It's pretty crazy. Um, and before that I watched Attack of the Clones, and it was interesting. Very Very interesting, very similar experience when I rewatched Phantom Menace as an adult, and then suddenly all the issues are like glaringly noticeable. Hi, Cereza. Thank you for the raid. Also, yeah, I literally just went on screen for my BRB. Hi, everybody. It's good to see so many of you are still awake. Although I imagine many of you are about to go to sleep soon, especially you, Cereza. Wait a second. No. You're in Japan time. I remembered. I can remember things sometimes. I hope you had a good stream. I have no idea what sleep is. I did a like a 2-hour nap in my bed, and I did that thing to where I slept on my neck weird and it hurt really bad, and then I had to go downstairs to avoid noise, so I then ended up sleeping longer, and then I reset my neck, so now I'm fine again. In a couple hours for you. Sloth, I was glancing at the feed. You're going on some kind of trip? I heard you talking about it, that I guess you're gonna go on a flight? You should sleep. That's how it always goes, right? We should sleep. A nap to town just so I could stay awake during the day, even though most of my moots aren't online. Honestly, I should have tried harder. My schedule actually fixed itself today. I woke up at 9, actually, something like that, and I stayed awake. I think I just stayed on my phone and did whatever, but I was awake early this morning, and then I fucked it up literally the same day. Hey, getting old, even sleep is painful. It probably just depends on your bed, too, but I mean, there's all kinds of other factors that could differ from person to person. Going on a road trip with my girlfriend to visit her family for Christmas, and I always get stressed out right before a big trip. So, are you flying or are you driving? Whenever I visit my family, and I don't get to visit them very often because I refuse to fly at the moment. We had to drive 10 hours to go see them, and it sucks. It's a pretty demanding trip. It's also phone annoying because every time I black screen out, I have to restart the whole page. What do you mean exactly, Mina? We are driving, but the last time we did this, we flew, which was a horrifying experience. Man, that fucking sucks. I'm scared to go on a flight because, like, I feel like if anything goes wrong, I'll just have a freak out and, like, panic. I have never flown before. Very scared. I remember, like, when I first was aware of like flights and all that, flight anxiety especially, my mom's work used to have her have to fly to different countries or different states a lot, and then 9/11 happens, and then my dad's like, you are not flying anymore, no way, no way, no way, no way. And I remember that as like a kid being extra scared of flights after that. Not to say that that's likely to happen again, but just one of many anxieties to think about when it comes to flights. Doesn't automatically connect. Oh, like whenever you pull up Twitch, like you have to then re-pull up my page? I can always relate to that Twilight Zone episode with the gremlin on the wing of the plate. I'd only ever seen one episode of Twilight Zone, but I don't remember what it was. Also, hi, Cliff. How are you doing? Good morning. I'm excited to see who shows up. I'm very relieved to see a lot of familiar faces, but I was curious, like, oh, if I stream at 5 a.m. my time, will I run into, like, people that I'll never see again unless I stream at 5 a.m. again? But, I mean, still, it's nice meeting people even if you don't get to see them again. Any kind of travel is scary. Yeah, anything can happen. They always say you're more likely to die in a car accident than you are in a plane, but I hate both. I really hate both. Don't get bothered by flying, just hate the airport experience. Oh, it sounds scary. It sounds like it'll be, like, confusing to navigate. I know the Twilight Zone song. I do not know that song. Twilight Zone is the series where there was the movie where the actor died with the 2 kids, right? I know that Twilight Zone is very infamous. I think the only time I ever watched it was with my grandma a few years ago. I think asked her about it or something. And she's like, yeah, let's watch this episode. And she had me watch it. Had to do with aliens eating us or something like that. Only because I had my usual 4 hours and now need to wait for my catch-up nap. But, to talk about, earlier, I watched, Attack of the Clones. Whenever I was a kid, when I was pretty young, I did watch the original Star Wars trilogy, but I didn't get, like, latched on, because, like, I was spoiled with modern movies at the time, and so I latched on to the, prequel movies, because they're more, you know, fantastical and fancy and all that kind of shit, and I, would repeatedly watch, Phantom Menace and Attack of the Clones, like, over and over and over and over and over and over and over again, like on repeat. Like, I guess it would be during the summer, and I would just pick one of the two, and I would watch it like 10 times in a row. Like, I really, really liked them. But I would do that with multiple things I liked. My interest in Star Wars never even remotely compared to how, like, into Lord of the Rings I was. Lord of the Rings was, like, my strongest live-action movie fixation that I've ever gone through. Like, it was very intense for me, but I would go through phases where I'm like, you know, I'm in a Star Wars mood. So maybe 3-ish years ago, I had Mina watch Phantom Menace, because Mina had only seen it in theaters as a kid, and their dad fell asleep during each of them, all of them. I thought that was kind of funny. So we watched Phantom Menace, and it finally clicked all the issues, and it sucks. I kind of, I don't like being, like, analytical, dissecty brain. It's because I'm constantly always hyper aware of my thoughts, and I'm always constantly thinking. I can't shut it off. So once my brain became that way, it made it harder to enjoy things like I used to, because when I was younger, I did not really have much critical thinking, I don't feel like. I would just watch anything and just take it for surface value. Sometimes every now and then I would realize I don't like this, and that's it. It kind of ended there, but, you know, it was sad going back to Phantom Menace and not being able to just enjoy it like I used to. I was able to just feel like, oh, there's pacing issues, or this is awkward, or that presentation was weird, or this line delivery is weird, stuff like that all the time. And Mina was just like, yeah, this is a movie. Mina didn't care much for it, but did you at least find the Darth Maul fight hype at the end where they have the Duel of Fates on Mina? With Qui-Gon, Obi-Wan, Darth Maul. That shit is still good. That is like the best scene, one of the best action fight scenes ever in terms of like fight choreography, presentation, score. They got John Williams with one of the best songs he's ever done, in my opinion. One of the best moments ever in cinema, and it's in like a very mediocre movie. It's kind of crazy, which I wish it was in a better movie, but I'm still glad that you'll never be able to forget Phantom Menace, because that scene's really good. Something positive to remember it by. Hi, Wilds. You guys liked it too? I feel like it's pretty common that people like all agree that that's the highlight of that movie. Yeah, I guess. What is wrong with you, Mina? Mina is so, like, I don't understand you, Mina. Hi, Rhea. Mina's like, is it just me, or am I able to, that must be it. Mina doesn't have as much of a palate for junk food as I do. Not that I would call that fight junk food. That is literally peak cinema kino. Never watched any Star Wars movies. It'd be interesting for you to dive into, I feel, but no pressure, really. The sequels really made me hate the prequels a lot less. Yeah, I remember liking the first of the new ones, the Disney ones. It's so much easier when somebody in chat called them the Disney ones. Boom, that's just an easy way to, like, establish which Star Wars you're talking about, because I'm so sick of saying, oh, you know, the new movies, the newest ones. It's like, well, which new ones? It feels like there's 5 or 6 of them. Some of them are movies, some of them are TV shows. Prequel Star Wars are kind of lousy. Still like Star Wars, unlike whatever the sequel trilogy was, yeah. Rogue One I wanted to like because I liked it conceptually, but it had a very weak cast. And it hurt it a lot. One thing that was really good about the original Star Wars, like the original, is that they had a good cast of characters. I'm watching episode 3 now, the Revenge of the Sith. It's funny, just like Lord of the Rings, with the Star Wars prequels, I never latched onto the third installment. For Lord of the Rings, the third movie is I don't even remember what it's called actually. Third Lord of the Rings. I'm drawing a blank. Return of the King. Yeah, I watched it in theaters actually, I believe. It might have been the only Lord of the Rings I saw in theaters. I'm so jealous of the people who could have seen the others in theaters. But I watched the third Lord of the Rings film, and it's good. Don't get me wrong, it's actually good. But I never fixatedly watched it 10 times in a row. And it was the same thing with Revenge of the Sith, where I watched it in theaters. I watched it in theaters, actually. I watched Phantom Menace in theaters. I don't know if I saw Attack of the Clone in theaters. And then I saw Revenge of the Sith in theaters. And I remember thinking it was, like, okay, a little bit corny. Padme is, like, giving birth to, like, Luke and Leia, and it's not very convincing, and she's like, Luke, alright, Leia, alright, I don't know, I think it's kind of bad. Hi, Diz. Yeah, I wrote down my notes of how to talk about Attack of the Clones, because, I was worried that if I try to, do it unscripted, or at least unguided a little bit, I would mess it up and not recount things correctly. One thing I want to say though is I'm in the beginning still of what's it called? Revenge of the Sith. I'll say that Anakin's actor is definitely improved. 100% he's improved. Because he's very not great in Attack of the Clones, and I feel bad for him. His big breakout role, probably, he was probably a fresh upcomer or whatever, and it's Star Wars, so I think people were very, very brutal to him. Don't know if how well mentally he did during that. I know that Jar Jar Binks' actor was not having a great time back then, but it sucks. It's pretty brutal, but that's the entertainment industry, right? It's like, people aren't gonna be like, all right, everybody, come on, guys. He's new, okay? I know he's young Darth Vader and he's ruining it because he's inexperienced and maybe the script also isn't very good, but, you know, be nice, guys, okay? Like, and then everybody claps and it's like, you're so right. Let's be nice to him. That's not how people are, unfortunately. Not en masse, anyway. Let me catch up with what you guys are saying. My dad is like, simple. My dad does not have any issue with the prequels. Last I checked, he just likes all of it. He did hate Jar Jar, though. But I'm curious how he would feel about them if he rewatched them now. Okay, now I'm gonna catch up with what everybody said. The thing I like most about the prequels is the sci-fi atmosphere. It's a mix of cyberpunk and high sci-fi, and I love it. Yeah, like, I do feel like they have very good presentation. I like a lot of the sets. The CG is a mixed bag, but it's still pretty good. Dad's a huge Star Wars fan, and he sat us down to watch all of the movies before the release of a new one. Oh, that's cute. I always like that. Like, so many dads just love Star Wars, but, like, it just blew kids away back in, like, the 70s. Disney sucks. They made Gennady I don't know how to say that. Oh, the Star Wars books. Yeah, they decided to make their own thing, and it sucked. Hobbit was great? I wish I could agree. I really do. Hobbit was, I think that was one of the first big moments of, disappointment, in cinema that I felt. Because, like, when I saw Revenge of the Sith, even though I didn't like it as much as the other Star Wars movies I'd seen, I liked it. You know, I thought it was fine. Like, for the most part, when I would see a movie, I didn't, like, go, like, oh, what the fuck? But Hobbit movies, shit, how old would I have been? I'm gonna look that up right now. Oh, I just realized I can't tell you how old I would have been. I'm just gonna keep it to myself. But, yeah, I was very, very, crushed because, I didn't just like the Lord of the Rings films because of nostalgia and all that. They were very good. They deserved the attention that they got. Maybe they weren't the greatest adaptations in the world. Just because they're really amazing movies does not mean that they're perfect adaptations. I think it's as good as you're gonna get. At least in this climate, I don't think you can get a good adaptation of Lord of the Rings anymore, because of how things have changed. Like, you can maybe get something well written, I guess, but it'll look ugly, I feel, because of, like, certain trends that just won't die. The CG tactics, I mean, original Lord of the Rings, was a pretty big pioneer of, like, CG in movies and everything, but they still had a very healthy, mixture of practical effects, sets, etc., along with the CG. The CG wasn't, like, the main crutch. It was just, you know, a side thing. But, yeah, that's my Hobbit rant. Still need to read Lord of the Rings, but that'd require me to read the other half of The Hobbit. I tried to read Lord of the Rings whenever I was kind of young, but I can't focus very well, so I ended up just dropping it before I even got started. But one of these days, I would like to read it. I'd like to read many things. Hold on. Kierge, what was it that first one saw on it as a kid on TV, but older and not watched? But seen Lord of the Rings. Like, wait, Star Wars? Sorry, I'm just now getting into the backlog. I just don't get the hype for Gondor and the Blackgate fights. The journey is much more interesting for me than the big battles. I agree. I like the beginning of stories and middle of stories more than I tend to like the conclusions, but that's probably just a common issue in storytelling in general, is that sometimes it's hard to wrap things up well. The stuff with the spider in Return of the King was cool. I liked the Ghost Army. There was a lot of good stuff in that film. But it's like, if you had to compare all three, the third part just doesn't compare to the others. I also can't decide if I like the first movie more or the second movie more. I know that I somewhat recently watched The Two Towers with Mina. I had Mina see it because I don't think they really had. And I remember thinking that there's like some pacing issues with the second movie, I guess, but it's still really good. I think that that's a big issue I notice, is every time I watch movies, I always feel like either movies are too quick, like, oh, I wish this was longer, or I feel like, oh, there's a pacing issue. And I don't know how to describe it. Like, oh, how is it? What do you mean? How is this movie paced weird? I'm like, I don't know how to explain it. I don't know. It just is. Should watch Shogun. I've heard good things about it. I don't know if I'll get around to it. With the assorted Lord of the Rings extended editions that were released on DVD, I knew a guy who would get home from work and watch one of them every day. This lasted at least 6 months. Yo, my kin. Although, because I watched the theatrical cuts so much growing up, when I tried to watch the extended versions, it felt a little bit awkward for me. Because it kind of felt like, oh, what's this? All this new stuff? But the movie was perfect as is. You're fixing what wasn't broken. But that's coming from me, a non-book reader. So, I have not really fully watched the extended versions. Only tried to watch one of them. And I guess I'll just keep it that way for a while. Maybe one day I'll watch them. But for now, I just never feel like I need those movies to be fixed to want to watch longer versions. Wish I had the attention span to watch movies. It's just so difficult. Yeah, it's the same thing for Mina. Mina doesn't like to watch movies. Mina prefers to play games. I'm kind of like that too. But if I go through a movie period, it can last a really long time. Where there was a year or two where all I did was watch movies. All I did was watch movies or watch Red Letter Media every single day, to the point where I had run out of Red Letter Media content to watch. I had watched like kind of everything, so I would re-watch Red Letter Media episodes over and over and over again, to where I kind of have PTSD from Red Letter Media now, because I kind of watched them during a very, very, very bad depressive point. And that's part of why I was able to just religiously watch them on repeat over and over. And now I'm just super burnt out, and I don't know whenever I'm going to go back to their channel, which is because it's one of my favorite channels ever. But I don't know when I'm going to go back and catch up on all the content that I've missed out on. Hell, actually, I've gotten out of touch with Urban Rescue Ranch. I don't know what happened to me. I don't know what happened. I know that I've been, like, kind of going through stuff lately for the past, year. But something must have knocked me out of my routine to make me not catch up with Urban Rescue Ranch, because I would always be on top of that. As soon as the new video would come out, I would make sure that I was watching it. But man, I'm out of touch. Hi Golden Cream. Didn't Jar Jar Binks' voice actor get a lot of hate? Yeah, he got abused pretty badly. I think they probably sent hate letters to him, of him generally just being aware of, like, the press about his character and everything. I believe he made I don't know if he made an attempt, but he was kind of wanting to. So it's pretty sad. Even if he didn't get any personal letters, because I don't really remember the details, I would imagine being excited to contribute to the Star Wars universe, creating a character, being that character, and seeing how people responded to it, it probably hurt a lot. The goal of that character being to appeal to children, they probably did appeal to children. I'm sure the kids liked Jar Jar. I remember not hating Jar Jar or anything, but it sucks for all the adults, you know? Especially, like, veteran Star Wars fans. Hell, actually, trying to watch, beginning of Revenge of the Sith, or whatever. And it's like an intense battle sequence, and they just keep adding in all these little quirky, goofy moments of the robots are saying funny, goofy things to each other, like the enemy robots. And they just keep doing it over and over and over. Hold on, I'm about to cough. Hold on, I'll be right back. Alright, sorry about that. It's frustrating because, it's like that stuff's put in there for kids, but I'm pretty sure that when my dad was a child, he watched the original Star Wars movies, and they did not feel the need to do that constantly. So I don't know why we changed things. I feel like if you make something solid, anybody of any age could get into it. Like, I mean, fucking kids will be playing GTA, you know? They don't need you to add, like, a goofy, silly clown to start dancing around to make it appealing to them, but whatever. But yeah, Star Wars is for all ages, and unfortunately, they don't all mix together very well in terms of what kind of things they like. I don't know. Oh, and thank you for the follow. I don't know how to quite word it, but I think you guys understand kind of what I'm getting at. I know in lore that Jar Jar was so stupid that he made his own dad depressed. And it's like, yeah, it's like, oh, he's annoying and frustrating, and the world reacts to him realistically by also being annoyed at him. And unfortunately, it doesn't really make it much better, because you're watching this movie and then you see the Jar Jar scenes that keep going on and on and on, and you're like, wow, that screen time could have been used to develop somebody else. Alright, that sucks. Because, well, you know, when you have your whole cast, you have to balance developing everybody, the cast and everything. And you didn't need Jar Jar. You could have axed him and then used all that extra screen time to do something else. That would have been better, but it is what it is. But let me... The first Lord of the Rings film doesn't have that much CG. On the other hand, the second and the third ones have a lot of them. One of the actors said he thinks the first film is the best because of that. It was Aragorn's actor, Vigo. Yeah, that makes sense. It's also crazy, like, when you find out, like, they had to do, like, optical illusion, tedious practical effects to make it work. Because I remember when I was younger, I would always get confused because I would find out how tall the Hobbit actors really were. They were literally not much different than the human actors. Gandalf, he's kind of tall, but Vigo and all the others, and I'm like, how did they do this? What is this? And it's like they would do just there's videos of it on YouTube. What they did is basically what they would never do now. They would just never do it now. It was kind of crazy. And it worked so well. I became a movie critic. I could feel the movie is great upon watching, but the more I think about the movie, the more critical I am. Yeah. It's just the analytical brain. I think what ruined me is, I got into Nostalgia Critic. That kind of stuff. Nostalgia Critic, AVGN, online video critique, but how do I say? AVGN and Nostalgia Critic are very, for the most part, surface level. They're more simple and kind of brief. Oh, thank you for the sub. Insert witty message here. They're entertaining. They critique and they get into things enough, but eventually I would gravitate towards more thorough dissections of things, and because I started liking that a lot and consuming that a lot, I think it gradually changed how I view things as well. And I like it, kind of. It does suck not being able to turn it on and kind of being the the fun police, something like that, but it is what it is. Oh, hi Eds. Yeah, I'm doing a late stream. I decided to stream very late. I could maybe fix my schedule with this. I could just stay awake and then go to work at like 9 like I'm supposed to. Although it depends on Mina, doesn't it? And then I'll just try to do an all-nighter, kind of. I did have a nap. I did sleep for 6-ish hours already, so it should be okay. Only catch back up. My man Viggo Mortensen nearly died on set in the first movie because that Urukai sword he parried was real, and then he broke toes kicking that helmet into... I think I heard about breaking his toes. And it's funny because like stuff like that happens in movies a lot, and the actors will just keep going so they don't ruin the scene, don't make it for nothing, and then at the end they'll be like, oh yeah, oh what was it? Something happened with Arnold. I think something happened and he got punched in the face or something. And he was like, yeah, that was, you actually hit me, or something like that. I can't remember what it was. Watched Secret Level. What's that? Return of the King is paced weird because it has 3 endings in a row. Oh, thank you for the pips. I don't know if $5 is enough to cover one while you're going to work, but Oh, coffee! Yeah, thank you. I would actually like to go to the grocery store. Need to get something. I don't remember what it was. Probably food. I actually want to eat something nice. I want to eat Five Guys. He actually stopped acting because of Phantom Menace for a long time. Which one? Jar Jar's? Oh, it'd have to be Jar Jar. I think people were mean to, like, the little Anakin actor, too. But he was just, like, a little kid. I'm sure he was shielded. Like, I hope he was shielded from the brutality of the press and the internet. There was internet then. I want to eat 5 whole guys. Yes, 5 guys. Burger and fries. Because I've just been eating eggs a lot lately. He was not. Dude has genuine mental problems because of it. Oh, his peers bullied him. Oh, that sucks. Yeah, it sucks whenever you're a kid. Like, that happened to Rebecca Black for the Friday video, which sucks. I think, she did a video. She's an adult now. She sings everything. I think she's pretty successful now. And she talked about how, something like kids would throw food at her. Or do, like, really insane bullying. Not the well, I'll say that there's a spectrum of bullying. There's the kind of bullying to where it's light teasing and light ribbon, and you think it doesn't fuck somebody up, but it really does. So I'm sure that there's, like, some people that were like, oh, Lamau, Friday, haha, how you doing, Rebecca? Kind of like that. But, nah, she dealt with, like, the whole spectrum of it. Justin Bieber. Oh yeah. It's kind of crazy. It was very normalized to hate him and be mean to him and call him cringe and this and that. And I remember, you know, you're growing up with that and you don't question it. You're just like, all right. And I remember hitting this point where I'm like, wait, why did we hate this guy again? I know what it was. It would be, they would highlight him having rude outbursts at people. They would be like, look at how Justin Bieber's such a terrible person. How could he be like this? And it's like, you guys abused him when he did nothing at all. And you did this for years. and you threw water bottles at him during concerts, and then you're like, what? He turns out like fucked up and talk. No way! What a horrible person. It's like, nah. You guys were the worst. You guys are the worst. Hi, Yumi. Welcome back. Kind of the same thing with Britney. I do like that there's been lots of retrospectives on how we treated celebrities. Like, Lamau, Britney Spears is crazy. She shaved her head. Oh my god. And it's like, wait. Oh, she was having like mental breakdowns because Hollywood was breaking her. And the reason why she shaved her head, from what I remember, is she kind of just got sick of everybody touching her. She got sick of everybody touching her, bleaching her hair, doing everything to her hair, and she just lost it, and then she shaved her head. And I'm not saying that, like, maybe she has mental issues. I don't know. I think she has some, but who doesn't, right? And it doesn't mean that anything that happened to her was okay in terms of, like, how she was treated. Oh, so I feel bad thinking about it. But that's just how it goes. I like how, one of the first people that I ever saw that really brought it up was South Park, of all people, where, I mean, it was unflattering, kind of, but South Park actually really highlighted how, brutal and mean we are to celebrities. Now I'm scrolling back up, because I want to catch up with what everybody's talking about. And then I'll do my review of Attack of the Clones. I remember when I watched Batman vs Superman extended cut with a friend, almost fell asleep. I never bothered watching it. I just gave up. I got so tired of watching certain types of movies, blockbuster action ones, because they always seemed like they would be mediocre. Superhero stuff, I just never bother. But there was a lot of good stuff out there. Like, Mame had us watch The Substance, and that was great. It was actually really good. Literally, Mame is the screener for me. Mame is like the one who watches movies all the time, shows all the time, and then she's able to be like, okay, Pumpkin, you'll like this. I'm like, okay, fine, I'll try it. One of the best decisions they made was including the first parts of the second book and the first film, Boromir's death, etc. It makes an already excellent film better. Hold on. I remember when I was a kid, I used to get really confused. I don't know why, but I would mix up Boromir and his brother a ton. So I kept thinking, I would have these moments of like, wait, is Boromir back? Who is this guy? Wait, is this his brother? And it's like, did they really look that alike? I'd have to watch it, watch again.